Welcome to Talk Flirty Podcast, the podcast where life is reflected through intimate conversation with me, your host, Nikki F. Wet. Welcome back to another episode of Talk Flirty Podcast. I am super excited because Talk Flirty Podcast is now officially on iHeartRadio and Spotify. So that's awesome. And Talk Flirty's exposure is slowly building, and I appreciate that. So you can catch Talk Flirty Podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Google, Chrome, should be other platforms coming soon as well. But in the meantime, pick one and follow. Preferably here on Spreaker. Go ahead and download the app and follow Talk Flirty Podcast. But yeah. For some reason, you know how if you think something and then believe, the universe kind of will put you on a path to where you'll be able to manifest that idea. For some reason, I don't know. I think I was on some type of autopilot. And the idea popped into my head that, I don't want to drive. I don't want to be in the driver's seat anymore. It could be the time of the year. I did miss the scouting period and drafts for cuddling season. So, but for some reason in my mind, I thought to myself, it would be nice to just suck dick and ride in the passenger seat of a nice car. And I found myself in the passenger seat of a nice car recently. But I didn't put anything in my mouth. So don't judge me. But that does go into the topic of tonight's show, which is to submit or not to submit. That is the question. I got this topic from a YouTuber by the name of King Vicious. I was watching his video, and he was talking about how women do not know the definition of what it is to be submissive. I wanted to disagree because I kind of go on the defense when I think that a man is trying to tell women how to live their goddamn life. But I couldn't really disagree with the video because ultimately the point was just defining, what it is to be submissive. And there are stereotypes when you say to be submissive, and honestly, I don't mind if you call me Nikki F. Anastasia Steele. But I do know the um, definition of being submissive as far as submitting to the will of your partner and doing so um, because you choose to do it. And so I'm not disagreeing with the video. I'm just offering some alternative facts, a different narrative to some of the points that were brought up on the video. Um, so in a man woman dynamic, I naturally submit. There isn't much that I would say no to when I'm in a relationship, or if there's that definition. Um, so even with um, negative experiences in my past relationships, my program is still to naturally submit, kind of surrender the lead to my partner. And one thing that I have noticed about myself, which other women may notice about themselves, when they submit, there may be a kind of a bit of unhealthy passiveness in there as well. And that can be kind of dangerous. The person that you are following behind may not be the person who is leading you down the right path. And in order to make sure you're moving forward you should move forward in this situation, you kind of have to make yourself inaccessible. That inaccessibility allows you to take a moment to step back and look over the situation without being in that moment. You get a clearer view of which way you should go, what you should do. Once you've given yourself the opportunity to do so, um, based on the result, then there should definitely be time made. There should definitely be an increase in availability between the two. And but ultimately you have to decide, like, if you have to realize if it's going to be something that you can move forward with, or if, hey, I'm just going to be single. Also, based on the dynamics, you may move forward, but you might have to not fall back so far. You might have to be the person who's going to go ahead and take the lead, or I don't know, walk shoulder to shoulder. Um, a woman leading a relationship, that dynamic works for some people. I did it for a while. It's in a 7-year relationship, and I was fucking tired of it. Outside of me or the other person dying tragically, that relationship could not have, it ended in the most traumatic, the worst scenario ever. But some women can shoulder that responsibility as far as carrying a relationship. For myself, it's kind of hard for me to not submit. And again, that's why inaccessibility is it's kind of like a defense mechanism. Just to give myself the opportunity to make sure that I am not completely demolishing any of the work that I've done on myself. um, from past chapters in my life. So that's just to offer a different spin on women who may not be as available as a person may want them to be. But I do realize that with so many people in the world, I mean, these scenarios can go on and on for days. So truly, I'm just speaking only from like my experience and knowledge of the situation. And then there was also the point of someone who kind of like resists submitting is not something that they would ever want to do. Um, and women who have that quote unquote um, false sense of independence, it's kind of like that I don't need a man for anything attitude. And my alternative narration for that is that simply that person may have been single for quite some time. Um, there's a program that is already in play and does not allow for any person to quote unquote interrupt the show. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a strong, independent woman who don't need a man for anything. If you ask me, I don't need a man for anything. But if you also ask me if I was lying, I would say yes. But I don't think those two questions are ever posed together. So no, I don't need a man for anything. But ultimately, I think just as an alternative narrative, it's kind of hard to, break the cycle depending on what a person has gone through, where they are currently at in their lives. Um, it's kind of a combination of all three, or it's kind of a combination of everything as far as being inaccessible and just taking a moment to overlook everything and having to decide which way is the tables going to turn, because you have to be able to know what the person is asking for, and can you provide that. You also have to define or know what it is that you're looking for, and does the person provide that? If not, is it all except for some small things, or is it completely a no? And there can be a bit of resistance for someone, especially who's been single for quite some time. Um, as far as I don't want to say compromising, but as far as understanding that nobody is perfect, and even though you have this program that you are accustomed to, you can still soften up a little bit or be softened up. The person who's in pursuit or um, wanting to move forward does definitely have to have a little bit of patience. But ultimately, you do have to be willing to go ahead and drop some of those guards, some of those defenses, and take a moment to submit um, to some type of request. And just the basis of it is simply to do it willingly. But I just wanted to offer, different narrative as to why women may come off as emotional, resistant creatures. But going back, honestly, you know what? I'm gonna get off of that because I don't know what the hell I was thinking about when I was thinking about that passenger seat. But with all right, welcome to Talk Flirty Podcast. We have a guest in the building. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Go ahead, let the world know how to address you.
Yo, it's the June, J.R. June P. Gambino. Follow me on my social media at the Junior with an underscore between that. That's the IG. June P. Gambino on Facebook. J.R. on Snapchat. Just follow me.
All right. And honestly, I'm really excited that I have you on the show now, finally, because
I know, cousin. I'm hella too.
We've been trying to get this cracking for a minute. We've been trying to for real link up for a minute, and so now it's all set as far as Talk Flirty Podcast, Talk Flirty Studios. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna play one of your songs.
Okay.
The title of this song is "Who Dat," and this was this was a single. This was actually a release single, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a quick little single for Shirley.
Okay, all right. So then we're going to introduce the world to who June P is on Talk Flirty Podcast.
You feel me?
Who that there? They said, who that there? Who that there? They say, who that there? Yeah, they ask who that little thug life living dress, swinging 90, feeling young. Homie, where she come from? They be like, who that short broad with the kicks, fly ride in the chicks? Yup, where she get them from? They steady asking irrelevant, got them thinking I'm heaven sent cause I'm godly. Come here, let us pray about it. Yeah, she always asking questions, I can always make a lesson. Gon' act smile cause this is what I say about it. Gamed up by a G, a follow with a code. I'm gassing on the interstate cause Bay is all I know. My mama say I'm wildin', but the beast is in the mo. My pockets feeling mighty heavy, still got room to grow. Hey, come a dime, a dozen dimes is all I know. And if you asking where to find me, you can find me in the scope with a cup full of drink and my plane filled with dope. Shoulda never asked a nigga if you didn't wanna know. They be like,
who that there? They said, who that there? Who that there? They say, who that there?
They be like June P, who? June P, who? June P, huh? June P. They be like June P, who? June P, who? June P, who? June P. Okay, they steady calling my name, but they don't really know. And with that flow, I bet 100 I'm exceeding status quo. Questioning how a nigga get it instead of how I spit it or how I'm slapping this shit on the radio. I bet you niggas out here steady hating, the same one steady faking cause you tryna backstage get it at my biggest show. And as soon as you with your friends in your mouth, my name never ends, steady accent adversaries what you wanna know. Literal shit like this can really get physical cause little do you know my goons with it though. But I'm not gon' whistle though, I'ma just keep spitting out this vicious flow and let them keep on asking what they wanna know cause they be like,
who that there? They said, who that there? Who that there? They say, who that there? They be like June P, June P, June P, June P. They be like June P, June P, June P,
right, all right. Now it's
Yes, sir.
pretty clear where you hailing from. So if they don't know by listening to that song where you from, let them know where you from.
Oh, I'm from the the sucker free 415 San Francisco born and raised. You feel me? Um, all over this mug for sure. Lakeview, the Point, everywhere. I'm straight from the city though. Sucker free all day.
And what do you think about the music scene for Northern California right now?
Um, honestly, I think that we've been underappreciated for years.
I agree. I agree.
I'm talking about from the legend as in E40 paving the way for just how we talk. Um, Short teaching us how to pimp through the hyphy movement. I was telling somebody the other day, the United States was missing not being a part of the hyphy movement because what the hyphy
Man,
movement to us was crunk to down south was the 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 Harlem World and Harlem Shake Wave in New York. Even when Nelly came out of the Lou and had his whole Miserable Flame, hyphy was that for us. And we're super underappreciated. We're super undervalued, and it sucks because other people have to have that Bay Area stamp before they feel like they're good. Drake had to do that. Drake had to come out here and perpetrate. We give a fuck about him in order for him to feel like he's good.
for real. And I noticed that a lot of what is that? YG, Big Bank, Take Little Bank. You see a lot of the high fee movement in his songs now, and I'm like, we've been on that for so long, and nobody wanted to give us. They throw us a couple pennies with a shout out. Ty Dolla Sign keeps like the Bay Area in his songs. Drake, like you said, act like he can't keep Mac Dre out of his mouth, but um, like G Easy, I really feel like that was a turning point that kind of um, made it okay for like Mozzie and other, you know, artists that we really felt should be representing Bay Area, Northern California. How do you feel about like G
Right.
Easy?
um, I, I ain't gonna say he sucks. Do I listen to him? Not necessarily. It's kind of hard because I don't listen to a lot of mainstream artists, and I feel like G-Eazy is in that category. I guess you could say as mainstream popular artist. So at that point, you're kind of in the flow, and I'm kind of more so underground. Um, I don't think his I don't think his goal was to necessarily put on for the day. So it's kind of hard to be like, okay. But the crazy part is even in the Bay, he gets his credit. E40 shout him out. Neff shout him out. You know, we got artists that shout him out as the most main thing in this moment up out of the Bay. But then again, he comes from the suburbs of Berkeley, or I think that's where he's from, like Berkeley or some shit. So, I mean, is that really Bay? Berkeley is really Bay, but is the suburbs of Berkeley really Bay?
It's
Like,
kind of
so
like
it's kind of
what they give us in order to, you know,
see. But the
keep
thing
us on
is,
the map, but not really.
but the thing is, I don't think anybody had to give us anything because no matter what, our music lives here. So the crazy part is, I'll slap Jay Stalin and Filthy all day long. Outside of here, who's slapping them? You get what I'm saying? So one thing we have done, and one thing I can respect about the Bay Area is for our artists, we put on. For our artists, we show love.
That's true.
You'll always hear, you'll always hear somebody from the Bay slapping somebody from the Bay, no matter where they go. You'll see somebody from the Bay repping the Bay, no matter where they go, whether they're from the town, whether they're from the city, whether they, um, um, ooh, can I put you on hold or no?
Sure.
Okay, hold on right quick.
Well, I guess we'll take a brief intermission. Let me see what I got. I'm going to play another track by June P. Gambino while we wait for this call to return.
Hello.
Oh, you back. All right.
Okay. Sorry.
That was brief.
Sorry.
That was brief.
That was brief. That's why I said cold, quick hold. Sorry. But, sorry, y'all. But back to what I was saying. We put on for our people, and I think that's why our music will never die here. Once our music starts dying in the Bay, then it becomes an issue for me because essentially nothing, even our biggest artists, people barely know. Like, everybody know 40, but do people really know 40? People know the click 40, and then they know tell me when to go 40. They missed the whole almost 10, 15 years of E40 classic music.
True.
But we will always keep it alive because we'll slap the Hall of Fame. We'll slap Players Ball. We'll slap these for life. We'll slap Cry No More. We'll slap. These are some of my favorite 40 songs that nobody will ever know.
For me, my favorite artist coming out of the Bay is the Jacka. So that's somebody who, I don't listen to a lot of radio and everything right now. That's pretty much what fills my title subscription.
Right.
And I don't think...
And same thing, rest in peace. Like, that's legendary music that nobody will ever know. Mac Dre had legendary songs that nobody will ever know.
Mm-mm.
And we keep them alive. I don't care what anybody say. California Bear drop in the club, we're singing it word for word.
Why do you think that's only? Why do you think it's only in? Why do you think it's only in Northern California, with social media being such a large presence and everything now? What do you think is missing as far as the whole viral stream for Cali?
Well, it's kind of hard because everything is regional. I feel like there's artists out of Southern Cali we won't really feel. Like when they had the whole Jerkin movement, it just came out with CEs. We only knew like 2-3 songs. So like I think it's regional. Everybody got their own, especially major areas like Northern Cali, Southern Cali, the South. And then that's even broken up. Houston got their own set of people. New Orleans as a city got their own genre of music to me with their bounce movement, and then they have their artists. So I could honestly say that no matter how big social media is, it's up to us to keep our music alive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people like Crisis the Rock, who I've met before, he's hella cool. I asked him, like, was it a surprise when Yakin became big? And he was like, hell yeah. He did that shit. And he was serious too. He was like, we did that shit fucking around and didn't think it was going to go as viral as it did, to the point where Beyonce is doing it. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, certain things take on. Certain words take on. Like, everybody's now living their best life. Certain movements take on.
And that even shapes the dynamic of what dances are and even the presence on social media. So it's kind of like an underlying, like without that, we wouldn't have a lot of the viral dancing that we have, as well as, movement from the South too. But
right.
I guess we in there,
We in there. Oh, for sure, we in there. Well, it's weird. Are we in there? We're not there. And when 40 dropped My Ghetto Report card, That was his version of being there. But didn't nobody outside of the Bay Area respect that work of art that album was?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, it's like at a certain point, it's kind of like, well, fuck it, because even my album to me was cool. It could have been better in certain like masters and different ways, but even so, what some people would tell me is, oh, that's a dope ass EP. You thought real hard on it. Or my core little group of people will say that. Somebody else will just be like, oh, it's just a couple of songs. So essentially, what we cherish our people for surely. And that's why 40 could be 20 years in the game, 25, 30 years in the game, and still dropping music, 2 CDs, 4 CDs back to back. Like, he ain't never gonna run out of a line. And then that's like, you feel me, Too Short could drop an album just now, and all of these different artists could drop these albums just now because, or, you know, that are older school, because essentially we hold on to them. If don't nobody else buy their album, I guarantee you they'll be streaming straight out of the Bay Area. When you go look at how your stuff stream online and stuff, I know for sure you could do it by country, but I feel like there's a way you could do it by region too, like Southwest, East Coast, West Coast, something like that.
Probably depends on what profile you have.
Right.
So yeah, you know, I thought my Ghetto Report card was going to be the turning point too for Bay Area. Especially he was collabing with like T-Pain and Candy.
Right. And he did a lot of features that year too. He did some Nicki Minaj shit. Like that's how I feel like that's how Nicki Minaj got her over stardom. Her regular albums was 5, maybe 6, depending on what song got hotter. But her initial claim to fame was dropping on everybody else's track.
True.
And I don't care what nobody says. And that's essentially what E40 did in that same time. When he dropped my Ghetto Report card, I think he hopped on a remix. Then he hop on that Hey Baby.
Yep.
Hey Baby. You remember that?
Yep.
When they had that 12-minute remix and that nigga was on verse was one of the hardest verses on that mug. He hopped on Lil Jon's album in that same period. He hopped on a couple of little things. So I think that's what got him a little further. But it sucks because initially nobody understood him. There's still people to this day who will be like, before he can't rap. What? What? Are you kidding? You're laughing because you know that's the funniest thing in the world. What? E40 can't rap? Come on now. E40 will out-rap your favorite rapper right now. I don't give a fuck. Your favorite rapper tell you that E40 is in one of their top 5.
And that's like you said, like it's regional. Yeah.
It also shows the generation because essentially there's a generation of kids out here who swear up and down Biggie and Tupac suck. What?
I see that. I can't pay none of that stuff no mind. I can't pay none of that stuff no mind.
Like, what? And sometimes you got to take that stuff in mind because essentially that's how culture is shaped, by how the kids think. Because the kids who are coming up underneath us, our nieces, and you know what I'm saying? Our nieces and nephews' age, the 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, they're essentially listening to a whole different genre of music than we were listening to, even when we were in high school, during the hiking movement, and during the time where even the 2000s music was a little more. You couldn't even hear the change that it is right now in early 2000s. Ja Rule and all them niggas was hot.
I think you can. I think you can definitely see the change as far as, I mean, like you said, with it being generational, you can only be, you know, exposed to so much and you make it your own. But we've been shaping this shit and it's gradually has become what it is now. But I think a lot of it repeats itself as far as theatrics, outfits. You know, somebody is always beholden to somebody, and it's all about making money, gimmicks, and things like that. And that's been throughout. That's been throughout the whole history of music.
Well, somebody made a very, I think I was watching State of the Culture the other night, and I think Joe Budden made a very interesting point. He was like, and this is kind of like a lot of what I'm gearing my music into future wise, but a lot of people are focusing more on feel good music, more so on what's going on. I won't say complete conscious music because that's a whole different level of thought in itself, musically and everything else. But like, I'm starting to hear more so people make happy music. I'm starting to hear more so happy songs on the radio than songs that aren't as cheerful. And it doesn't even matter what the song is about. If the song sounds happier, it's being played.
Like what is it? Smile. Both Mr. Hotspot and what is that? Lil Duval.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too. I mean, you can only do drugs successfully for so long, and you have these same songs. It's time to switch it up. But with what is that? You know how they say the music imitates life. A lot of these artists are not living the life that they are living. So I mean, this type of style of mumble rap and these younger kids, it probably won't last long because it's not truthful.
And which is first of all, that's absolutely true. People do not live the life that they rap about, and that's real 100. And that's why they be put in real nigga situations, and then they can't get out of it, or they're running behind the police or a bodyguard or whatever. Like me, why would I argue with a 6-foot man and I'm 5 foot even female? You feel me? Like, that's not my fight to win.
I
so
was
why would I even poke that there?
I was on Facebook and I seen that the Tekashi 6ix9ine video shoot had got shot up. I was about to leave a comment. I was about to put a line from the Jacka, you know, where he'd be like, "We really live in what the songs say," but I left the pettiness alone.
Right.
Because that's fucked up. But yeah.
But that be the realest shit. But that also kind of gears me towards music that I listen to. But I cannot say that everybody that does mumble rap don't live that life, because you can't understand shit 21 Savage say. I feel like he might got some body.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So like, you can't really say that everybody's art imitates. You would hope that their particular art imitates their life.
True.
My art imitates my life. Why would I go walk around talking about hella guns and hella violence? And you know how we was raised.
Right.
So like, you feel me? Like, so I could speak about my experiences, but I could also only be as truthful as I know how to be.
Right.
My art has to imitate the fact that I'm advocating and I'm pushing positivity, and I'm letting at least the hood mugs on my page know what's really going on in the world. Half of the time, them motherfuckers don't even know what's going on in the world because they don't watch the news. And then they don't really know what's going on with Trump and all the other stuff. They'll get on Facebook, talk that mess, and probably see a post and be like, "Oh, it's not."
That's true.
I had a young dude get in my inbox and was like, "Bro, I don't be knowing information until you post it." I was like, "Please watch the news."
I'm bad with that. I don't watch the news. I have to say, I really don't.
People do need to, though. People need to watch other news. like news that isn't from America. Like Al Jazeera, you gotta watch what they thinking about us.
Mm-hmm.
Like people really need to be more so informed because it's crazy because a lot of the people that didn't vote or wouldn't vote or had an issue with voting was African American men.
I didn't vote.
Like, literally, you should have voted.
I didn't vote because I did not take the time to educate myself about the candidates here.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know where my polling place was, any of that. I just let this time pass.
Okay. Honestly, I can't be mad, but because essentially you're like, I didn't educate myself. Why would I go in there and vote for some dumb stuff? I educate. A lot of it was I educated on the defense because it seemed like a lot of much more money, especially in California and especially in San Francisco, was put into opposing laws that essentially will help us.
I was listening to. I honestly I paid more attention to the propositions and things in California than I did out here. There was one prop that ran an ad on the radio about Proposition 3. They're like no on 3, and they voted no on 3. That's honestly the only thing. If I had gone and voted, that's the only thing I would have. Okay, no on 3. But in California, I noticed that they had something about voting on for rent control.
Yep, and they voted against it.
Was it? Wow.
Because they put $8 million or 18. Excuse me, I think it's 18, 8 or 18. Do not quote me on the exact number. I feel like it was 18 because I know it was more than one number, and 8 was one of them. So 18 million. I'm gonna look that up. On telling people not to vote for rent control for every other reason besides it's not. You feel me? Like they pretty much threw it out there like it ain't gonna do you no good. And they had all types of people on it and against it, and essentially it was gonna work in our favor.
Mm-hmm.
I live in the most expensive city in the United States right now.
That is that's interesting because I would think any person in California would have voted for rent control.
But not everybody. But not everybody makes the money that the lower half. See, you have to think about it. Even though the lower half of the poverty line is more so the minority, the upper half is essentially just moving in. Gentrification is happening everywhere. West Oakland, Hunters Point, almost in Richmond. They ain't got across the tracks yet, but they almost up there. Fucking everywhere. It's out of control. Fucking Fillmore. Everywhere. It's absolutely out of control. And at this point, if gentrifiers are leaving, it's because they don't want to pay the high rent, not that they can't.
Uh-huh.
So essentially, you leave us in a predicament where we, one, can't afford to leave the Bay. 2, we don't want to leave the Bay.
Like they just came in and inflated it and then bailed out?
Pretty much. A lot of these techies came here, what is it, 2018? This shit started happening. I've been back in the Bay since 2000, the end of 2010, beginning of 2011, right? This massive massive migration of non-cultured folk moved into the Bay within the last 5 years. So that was, 2013, 2014? So like 4 or 5 years. And it's disgusting how fast it happened. It is absolutely disgusting how fast it happened.
I had to hit the hills. My rent jumped up $450. And I said, you know what? It's not even worth it.
It's bad in Sac too now. Oh, it's getting hella bad in Sac too. Now everybody out there complaining, oh, I don't want to pay $1,200 for a 2 bedroom. I was paying $1,200 for my 2 bedroom in West Oakland in 2011.
Oh my gosh.
It was already expensive, but essentially I moved into something cheaper, a little more convenient. I was in downtown Oakland. I worked right in the city, so I was like, phew, right on the BART, so it wasn't nothing. So it worked for me. But now, oh man, it's not even that I can't afford it. I could afford rent out here for me because I'm by myself. I ain't got no kids, no other responsibilities, no dog, nothing, just me and my shit. So I can move. Now it's qualifications that people of color and anybody under the line don't nobody black got a 650 credit score. We don't make 3 times the rent. We might make 2. But that don't mean we can't afford rent. We just prefer to navigate our money differently. Y'all like to throw away money. We can't. But we make shit work. But we don't make 3 times the rent. We don't have a 650 or 650, 700 credit score. And no, we can't give y'all 3-4 racks right now just to move in. And still got to have a rent next month.
Right, right. That's ultimately
So
what I was doing. Like when I was in Sacramento, my 2 bedroom went up to $1,250, and it was a steep ass jump. Just bam, $12.50, and I was like, what the hell? But like you said, my credit score wasn't good. I just wasn't in a position to where I can change a lot of things that I wanted to, and so that's why I did the move out here, so that I can go ahead and, work towards that credit score, work towards home ownership, be more prepared for, the city and its growth. And I think it's pretty kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult in Sacramento, definitely tough in in Bay Area, LA.
And it's so crazy. I love the Bay. I don't ever want to live from out here.
Never,
like,
ever?
I don't ever.
Ever,
I mean,
ever?
like, I do want to travel. I do want to live other places. Yeah, essentially. But if I really wasn't the type to, I think if I traveled more to these places, I wouldn't want to have to live. So if I just traveled all these places, essentially, yeah, I could stay in the Bay Area for the rest of my life. I love it here because the culture is so rich here.
Uh-huh.
But niggas can't afford it. That's it. We are literally be driven out. They are driving us out. Once Stockton start raising their prices, they raised a little bit, but they ain't raised the way like Sac is and coming on down to the Bay. Once Stockton start raising their prices, you know it's bad.
I used to work out in Lodi, so I was hearing a little bit about how their prices were increasing, but their crime and stuff was still real bad.
Yeah. And then essentially the money out here is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you ain't getting this money in Sac. You ain't getting this money in Stockton. Right, nowhere.
I for damn sure ain't getting that money out here. Cost of living, minimum wage is $8.25.
I die.
Minimum wage is $8.25.
I die. I pass out. What? Oh no.
It didn't take me that long to actually get a job and kind of get close to what I was making back at home. So it's not bad right now. But this city is definitely going to see a lot of growth, and I'm just trying to stay as far away from the suffering of gentrification as possible.
Yeah. It's depressing sometimes when you go through downtown Oakland. All you see is pubs and dive bars Plus, you ain't have no dive bar ever in Oakland.
Wow.
It's just, it's dive bars and like just stuff that was never in Oakland before.
Mm-hmm.
Just stuff that without even just crossing the line. It's just stuff that has never been in Oakland before. And they frequent there on the weekends. And it makes it very, very, very uncomfortable to walk through downtown Oakland.
What's your take on, because other people are coming in, or certain types of people are able to open those establishments outside, like, why do you think it is difficult for the Black community to come together and build those establishments themselves?
One, the system doesn't give us that, even if we wanted to. Even if we did back in the day, now it's closed at the most pivotal time for Black businesses. We've been bred so much on survival of self.
Mm-hmm.
The thought of us coming together and be like, what? And it's crazy because it sucks because you see people in the industry wanting to help, but don't do it in the open because it's criticism. But then we criticize them anyway in the clothes, like, oh, we don't see them helping nobody. On the low, they building houses in Africa. They done built 8 schools in the U.S. Throwing money to the poor in the hoods in the communities, and we just don't know. I think we just missed our mark.
Mm-hmm.
And we could start now. Will it help? Who knows? Because we didn't put ourselves in the right place of where culture and society is going. Like technology is it. Everything's going on. Your car is about to fly in a minute. And the moment they lift the car off the ground, it's a wrap. It already talked to you. I rode in a brand new Cadillac, a brand new badass Cadillac. And that motherfucker talked. It told us, oh, there's a police up the street, Oh, a car is coming up on you on the side, too close. I was like, oh, shit.
They just got the Waze app in the Cadillac. That's it. I'll be looking out for the police, too.
I told my folks, I was like, this is some real player shit. Because back in the day, our granddad, that was player, had a Cadillac. Now your Cadillac top pair, that's the player. I said, that's the most boss ass thing I ever seen in my life. Brand new ass Cadillac. Shit just floating when you drive. He float across the Bay Bridge. I was like, oh, this granddad Cadillac would have been bumping. Probably wouldn't have went over 60. We was floating over that motherfucker. And I feel like we should have been on that side. I feel like now that technology is coming in and the people that know it are not us, so we're not going to benefit off of it. Mm-hmm. We're kind of sort of getting into it now, websites, getting apps, doing stuff. But our thought process when it comes to our business shouldn't just be limited to clothing lines or, you feel me? Like Super made $1 million business off some makeup.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Like good makeup. So like all of this stuff, we gotta start thinking outside the box. I feel like we'll get there though. But we did miss our mark. And I think it was like 2000. I mean, the 2000s was a rough year, period.
It's kind of difficult because it's like what was that with the Bitcoin? You know how they had the big explosion for Bitcoin, and then everybody started to come around and start to invest. And then now it's kind of like, okay, well, if you didn't get in like 2004 or something, too bad for
right.
you.
Them niggas millionaires, boy. They turning over 6, 7 figures off of something they invested on the food. Partner was like, go invest in that shit. What? What is that? And just some computer stuff. Put a couple dollars in there. They done flip $5 to $4 million. I'm mad. I'm mad. Like, what? What? We missed our mark terribly. Terribly. But I feel like if more people are out here willing to put time into making sure that our people get off, they're not saying throw money on this shit, even just teaching them. A lot of this shit is just literacy. Go get a patent. Get your idea. You feel me? Like, what is your vision? Do you have a color scheme? Down to your branding, down to your website, how everything looks. We could teach that to a whole generation of kids.
Do you think that that's something that, like, that would be the answer? Just educating? Because, I mean, it's kind of difficult to get information and kind of navigate certain things. Like you said, everybody has been, you know, focused on self-preservation for so long in the community. It's kind of difficult to get other people to share knowledge with you.
Do I think it's the answer? I feel like we're going in the right direction. I think if more people start listening, and not even us, yeah. Once our life actually matters, I swear to God, we're growth. We are $1 billion industry, and they know that. Why we don't know that?
Well, when you say our life matters, who does it need to matter to?
You said who?
Our life. Who does it need to matter to? Because technically, you know, we all we need. And I know people understand the value of black as far as outsiders.
Not at all.
Not necessarily the person itself, but black as far as to America, as far as to culture.
We made everything, down to the music, down to our life, everything. Everything. A dude did a little skit and was trying to prove a point to somebody. It was like, if blacks didn't make this and that, how would your day go? Woke up like he was getting ready to start his day. Homeboy was taking everything. Black man made that. Black woman made that. Black man made that.
I seen that.
Made that. You see that? Black man made that. Dude was like, what? Like, we made everything, and we have so much power. And I feel like if we understand our power, we'll kill the game. Or for real, kill the game.
Now, because we haven't talked too much about you. I have one more song that I was going to play for off of your album, Livin Legend. I started to play it during the intermission, but you only going for 2.5 seconds. So,
my bad.
Do you have any other projects that are coming up? Are you working on anything else?
I'm formulating a couple of ideas. I'm getting music from different producers.
You need me to learn how to sing?
You said what?
I said you need me to learn how to sing?
I mean, I got a little vocale. already. That's in my nature. But life didn't treat my vocal cords well.
You're not trying to put me on with my actual singing voice.
Yeah, so what I think I sound like, but I mean, it's a process. It's a process. I'm definitely musically doing something completely different. In my next project, next singles, everything, I've gotten with new management. So, I got new stuff coming out. Um, I'm branding myself in a completely different way. So I'm kind of enjoying the process and I'm taking it one step at a time. Um, I kind of want this year to end on a good note. But yeah, for surely, definitely coming straight into 2019. Like definitely soon, I'll be dropping some singles, and just getting with people. Period, and just building. So it's coming together for surely. So yes, definitely having the music coming 2019. Pressure, all 2019.
Okay, well then let me go ahead and play a little bit of this song because I actually really did like this song. I was trying to get that California Dreamin'. That was my jam on that album that you have, Livin Legend. But
that was kind of like my favorite song too.
YouTube was tripping.
It is.
Okay, let me go ahead and turn this on.
They wasn't lying, dogging on these hoes for real. Just to spite them, I was full of conniving ways. And I tried them, so I say it all to say they wasn't lying, got the police on my back. Cause they say I was a criminal sinner for face of the block, but they say I was a Seminole. Fighting for my land, and I mean it kinda literal. Cause niggas popping up, and we never heard of them before, Yeah, we counting rows, yeah, we counting rows. We bumping all the hoes, yeah, we bumping hoes. They yelling, give me more, yelling, give me more. And after I give them what they want, they always wantin' more. You can say I was a stone cold hater. Gave me niggas up to talk about them later. And my mama warned me of the snakes in the grass. Cause they the first one to fake on your ass. Let go. The world always got something to say. To say. You can tell them that there's hell no lie. They tell no lie. They tell no lie. I can't believe the way they go about it, though. What you talking about? Chop a nigga up, but have real doubts about it. I feel if you talk, have a crowd around it. Cause telephone is best when the sound around it. I bet they told you I was on the streets thugging. But homelessness is worse when the life you live is rugged. From bando to bench, yeah, I really wasn't grubbing. It's luxury and food, and if you don't know, you above it, I hope they let you know the flow is straight gassed up. Unleaded premium, it costs to be this rapper. It costs to be this rapper, and if they told you any different, that's lying, that's facts, bruh. But they could never call me ugly. June baby face, writing skills just like the homie. But they all say they know me. It's a plus to drop my name, and that's truth when they show me. Let go. The world always got something to say. To say. You can tell them that there's hell no lie. They tell no lie. They tell no lie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you again. You don't need me to work on my singing voice so I can get on the next album.
You too. We're going to get closer together. Let's do it, cousin.
I'm gonna be like, they tell no lies.
Hey. Hey, yo. Shout out to D-Soul Records, the label. Shout out to Duchess, who actually was the singer on that track. She came through in a clutch. And she put some OG swag on that track.
I know. I was ready to, what's that, Bone Thugs in Harmony with, and she'd be like, and Tasha. I was ready to break out like that. June P is definitely in the house.
Legend.
For real.
Legend. What is considered a legend?
That's kind of a loaded question. Legends are pretty much, I think, manufactured nowadays. Like Drake. Nicki Minaj might be a little bit of manufactured.
You really consider them legends?
I consider them persons who are placed on top.
But is that legendary?
For certain generations, yes.
But can we call them legends? Because legends, to me, come from a different realm. Like, legends to me come from a different realm. Like, once again, I don't put Drake on the same level as E40. But Drake got more hits, for surely. But, I mean, does your chart count make your legendary status?
You probably have to look at the overall picture, as you know, a Michael Jackson legend versus a Drake legend, Aretha Franklin legend versus Beyonce legend.
Be a legend.
She's kind of manufactured there too. I feel like a lot of the newer artists are legendary because they made a lot of money for the right type of people, right person. As opposed to other persons whose music has kind of like shaped, like Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Diana Ross. What's the one that came out with the disco? Dang it, I can't remember her name. I want to say Summers. Something Summers. You know who I'm talking about?
Who?
She was like in the disco era.
Oh, man.
But like transitional periods, like you know how music changes and a person who is right there, you know, ahead of the game or in the front.
But would we still think of them as legends even when we're older, and the other kids would think of them as, oh, the greatest thing since sliced bread? Because then we'll still have people that have 10, 20 years over them that might be older still killing the game. E40 is still the 85 with the same glasses and that same toothpick, dropping 4 albums out joints.
With that same sweatband.
Droopy on half of the beat, dropping this stage with Uncle Thick with his old ass, Be Legit with his old ass, with his same ass records at 85.
It probably just depends on, you know, the person and the generation they came up in. A lot a lot of our legends, I mean, growing up, we listened to the same type of music that our parents, we rocked in that household. Nowadays, kids are pretty much on their own. So their legends are going to be their legends.
Right.
I just think it's like you said, it's generational. But if depending on the change that whatever direction music is going into, might see a whole host of different type of what's considered a legend.
Yeah, it sucks because our kids are never no good music. Oh. Our kids, oh God, who knows what they'll be listening to? They'll never know a good Frankie Mays and Beverly, Frankie Beverly and Mays hit that don't. Oh, whoa. They will never.
Unless they watch a Tyler Perry movie. A Tyler Perry play. But then, I don't know.
Oh, my God. Medea is a legend. I don't care what nobody says. Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. They never know good music.
Mm-mm.
Never. They said unless you watch a Tyler Perry movie. At that point, he'd probably be with the generation. See, Metro Boomin and 21 Savage that made the soundtrack to a Tyler Perry movie.
No, I don't think that would ever happen because, it's an underlying Christian message there. It can only be so secular.
Definitely Chance the Rapper on the album, then. Definitely Chance. And Kendrick. And just put feel good people on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't even have no topics. We've been going for an hour, and ever since I introduced this conversation, like call in, my podcast has been hitting over an hour, but usually I don't record this long.
Oh, we had an hour.
Now, the basis of the podcast is intimate conversation with me, your host. We can't get too intimate because we are actually family. But did you have any topics?
Intimate with each other. Wait, so are you asking me? Am I supposed to be vulnerable?
Yeah, I'm asking. Like, did you have any topics you wanted to discuss? What's been going on with your week?
My week has been busy. It's just starting though. I always look at the end like, oh, it's Tuesday, but hey, Friday only a couple of days away.
Yeah, I start to get a little happy dance going towards the end of the week, and like literally, I start dancing at work. I just noticed it the last 2 weeks or so, but once Wednesday, Thursday hits, I'm ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
But they say that's no way to live life. If you're anticipating and waiting for the weekend, then you're not really living life.
You think so?
I think so. Only because it depends on what you do with the rest of the week. If you're not being productive.
I'm just now getting into my 30s. I don't know what that 30 life is like, because 30s is different than the 20s. Apparently, y'all be feeling different. My whole thought process done changed about it.
I be going back. I go back and forth. Sometimes I try to act like a responsible, mature 32-year-old, and sometimes I just be like, flip that in reverse, and it's time to party.
That's 'cause you in Vegas.
I moved to Vegas to party, and I started telling people that, and then they started offering me cocaine, and I had to come up with something different. So I moved to Vegas to work and to play. If you came to play, they'll probably invite you to the green door, but won't offer you drugs that you don't do. I'll be getting weak out here.
I am. I'm gonna be traveling more. Definitely traveling a lot next year. I mean, now I work for an airline, so essentially I could just go.
Oh, Buddy passes on deck.
You said what?
I said Buddy passes on deck.
Ah, yeah. A part of me, I know everybody's been saying that, but to me, how they explain their buddy pass system, essentially buying a ticket is very much more safe, even to pay the extra couple of dollars, because the discount ain't that much.
Oh.
So like, essentially, it's cheaper because it's a discount, but you'll be on standby.
Well,
so
I guess I guess I ain't going to Africa then.
They do. They go to Cairo. I'm trying to get my best friend to go. She don't want to take the shot. I'm like, I'm trying to go to the motherland. I feel like Egypt is enough.
I'd like to go. That's actually one of my.
That is definitely it. We could definitely make that happen then, because I definitely want to go, and I don't want to go by myself.
I was talking to like a group of Africans, and they were like, because everybody's like, oh, you don't want to go to Africa. It's dangerous if you go to Africa. But I was talking to a group of Africans, and they were like,
never know until we go.
They're like, no, like all you have to do is go out there, let them know that, as long as you are going with the intentions of learning about, Africa, where you come from, they welcome you.
Yeah,
I believe it.
They do. Mm-hmm. Especially when you tell them you're from America. Brother, sister, welcome home.
So, yeah, I definitely got to go because that would definitely be like a chapter closing experience, like moving on to the next.
Yes, definitely. I want to find the river of Jordan. I want to dip my locks, renew my face. I want to go to Africa and come back a different person. They ain't gonna know me when I come back. Dude,
you gonna come back like, Mama, ini Mama.
Yeah, you were there, Papa. Oh, my mom, I'm telling you, I come back a whole different person, speaking the language, everything, making foods I ain't never made before. I go out there and find a cooking class in a village somewhere, and like no bullshit. Teach me how you grind it and make it. I want to learn some traditional food. I'm about to come back knowing my culture.
I'm trying to. I want to go so I can, stop believing what I see, or get outside of what is just pushed in mainstream media as far as what Africa is. It's a lot of poverty and things that's shown on TV, but it's such a, like, I can't believe how wealthy Africa is for it to not.
It's a lot of culture out there that I want to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in Nigeria, in South Africa. I want to go to Tanzania. I heard it's beautiful beaches there. I want to go all over. I want to go everywhere. I want to go to Thailand. We go to Thailand.
Have you ever thought about doing like the DNA ancestry?
I wouldn't go through Ancestry because Ancestry is bullshit.
There's
Ancestry gives you a broad thing. Oh yeah, you're from West Africa, and then you got this. You're 1/14 and 1/14 West African. You got a little diamond Ivory Coast in your blood. Like they'll bullshit you, but I haven't done a whole bunch of research. But they were telling me about, or I heard about different type of ones that goes deeper than just ancestry.
the only one I've heard of is that 123 and me or something like that.
I don't know. I don't even know if they had a name of it. But I feel like it was like a Facebook video I ran across a while ago, and they were like, yeah, this one is like more in depth, especially for people of African descent.
That
And
would be
I'll
interesting.
definitely be willing to do that one and do it. But I ain't going through Ancestry. You ain't going to take my $100 to tell me I'm from the Ivory Coast. Fuck that. I ain't playing. But, yeah, I definitely want to travel more next year. I guess enjoy my 30s. I've been a lot of struggle through my 20s, a lot of, I guess you could say self-discoveries in ways, and fell and gotten back up, and all types of shit over and over and over again. So now I'm kind of comfortable, fresh into my 30s. I'm trying to live my best life. That what that girl say, walk in my purpose and live in my truth. All through my 30s.
Who said that?
What's her name? Is it Jasmine Love? One of them comedians. I want to say Jasmine Love.
Oh.
But I don't think it was her. And one of them, and she was doing this. Oh, what people in their 30s do like, and it was all types of funny shit.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah,
I know what you're talking about now.
She's like, I'm just walking in my purpose and living in my truth. Well, I'm saying that's all I'm doing in my 30s, walking in my purpose and living in my truth.
Okay, yeah, I know who you I know who you're talking about now.
I can't even think of her name, but I don't think it was Jasmine Love. But she's the IG comedian. I need to find her because she's hella funny. It could have been Jasmine Love.
I can't help you out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you got planned for the next 5 years? Sure.
For the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Within the next 2 years, I'm hoping to finally purchase a home. Vegas is going to be a permanent move for me.
You want it to be in Vegas?
Yeah.
Anybody buying houses in Vegas?
I know.
In Arizona, in Texas.
And I'm trying to get in where I fit in. Honestly, I'm hoping the housing market crash. It kind of goes a little bit shaky after these elections. But hope everything go falling down to the ground so I can get in where I fit in.
That's why I don't want to leave today. You think I want to leave a bank? Come on now. What goes up must come down.
True.
Must come down. That stock market boom and everybody moving out in 2001, by 2008, everybody was selling their house. Come on now.
But yeah, so that's one thing. Let me see here. Working on this podcast. I've been working on this for quite some time, but I've just, like I said, just trying to get information on how you go about starting it. I did it piece by piece. And so I think that's why it took a little bit longer to get up and running. Usually everyone's like, you want to make sure you have everything together before you launch. I was like, no, I'm about to drive to LA and I'm about to have a podcast. I'm about to go from Sacramento to LA for a damn hot dog. And
oh, you know you gotta have me on that. I'll come to LA for that. Oh, what? Trip to LA? Then we could party.
It's only like it's only 4 hours from here.
Come on, exactly. I'll make that trip in 5 from the day right now.
I did go this summer, but not as much as I wanted to. So I definitely will be back and forth a little bit more next year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the water. So honestly, I'm not sure why I moved from California, from the water to the desert, but these pool parties will have to suffice in the meantime. But I do go to the beach, just like take a trip to the beach, honestly. And I like driving, actually. Like, I drive all the time back and forth I used to drive all the time back and forth from Sac to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I went back for Thanksgiving and everything. But my poor little Honda, the miles is getting racked up.
All right.
But that's the major thing. Just creating a good foundation here. And hopefully finding more people to network with for this podcasting thing.
Is it lit like that in Vegas, or you really gotta go to LA for that?
It depends on who you network with, but as far as like business opportunities and things like that, I think Vegas is really good, and that's going to be I think it's really good for small businesses right now. There's definitely going to be a lot of growth with the sports teams coming out here and just overall. So I think this was a good move as far as what I'm looking to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you just got to get out there and network. I mean, Vegas, any day of the week, any day of the week it pops off. Yeah.
It's lit. Yeah. I don't know. I'm thrilled to be. I don't know. I'm thinking about making a move. I want to stay at this job until I max out. So anywhere I move, y'all gonna have to pay me what they pay me at SFO. Straight up.
Okay, yeah. My job didn't transfer. My job was absolutely only in California. And I originally wanted to move out here back in 2012, but I couldn't get a job, which was weird as fuck. But
I ended up out there for a couple of months on some flu shit, and I couldn't get a job either.
I was like, what? That's how I was like, this is beyond me. What?
I went back. I called my sister, like, give me a ticket right now, because I know I could get a job in Frisco. Got a job in a week. I was like, oh.
That's crazy. So, yeah, and then at that time, just the years passed, but I couldn't just pick up and go. Finally, I was like, you know what? This city's not working out for me. I don't want to be here.
What made you leave? For surely, because that can hold you. That's why I don't want to go back.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was like, I really don't see myself progressing here in Sacramento. I just I couldn't imagine myself, like, I didn't see a vision while I was out there. And so I was like, well, let me just go ahead and kind of like lift the roof, take the top off and figure out where I really actually wanted to be, and then just get there.
Yeah. That was kind of my move for the day. I packed my shit and left.
I thought about going to LA, but then I was like, what the hell? I was like, I'm worried about $450 rent increase. I was like, I can't move to no goddamn LA by myself. And then think I'm gonna be surviving out there. I was like, let me go to this 825.
Mm-hmm. But 2010, 2011 was a different time. I could essentially afford it.
Mm-hmm.
But then as rents start rising and stuff start happening, and then I start wilding out for a couple of years, it didn't just get back right until like right now, but last couple of years. But yeah, like it essentially it wasn't just bad. So it would have been just like a move in 2010, 2011 to LA. And for me, it's just it's the times are different. Inflation is real.
Yes, it is. But I don't know. So yeah, I just felt like Vegas would be the place for me to get ahead of a little bit of the finances and other things.
Now is the time because they just trying to get rid of shit now. Apartment moving now, $100.
For real? You know, it's crazy out here. They be having $300 move-in specials, $399
Right.
move-in specials, and I
No credit check. That's how you know they're giving away shit when they don't check your credit. What?
I applied for an apartment online while I was still in Sacramento, and they approved me, and I said, "Oh,
Time to go.
when Jesus says move." And I was
Not
like,
again.
"Wow."
They
But
getting that shit out. They doing it in Arizona right now too. They getting them out. Did the same thing.
but yeah,
My sister moved out there.
to Arizona.
And she was still. She had seen it. And like, well, she transferred her job out there,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, they throwing apartments out there too, because she essentially got approved and all that shit by the time she moved out there. Now you gotta go search. You gotta take a couple of weekends to go out there.
It's not actually not that far from here. I think it's only like maybe not even 2 hours, hour and a half.
I feel like anything in like Southwest desert is essentially dead to me. I don't know. It's too hot for people to party. Vegas, they don't care.
And it's so
Like,
much to do out here. Like, it's not necessarily just the party scene or anything like that. But
it
you
is
can.
other shit to do out there though. I loved it when I was out there. I just couldn't get a job.
Yeah, that's crazy. When I
Because
moved
I got
out
out there.
here.
I got out there on some fluke shit, and then wasn't even planning on staying. And then I was like, well, I kind of like it. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna stay a while, see if I can get a job. And then I went to a guy. He knew me from some other from some job I had out here in the Bay. And he was like, you gotta do all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I can't. He was like, we can't even hire you then. And I was like, oh. But then I would start applying like on the strip and everywhere else, and for some odd reason I just couldn't get a job. I was like, oh no, I gotta go back. My resume also wasn't as expensive as it is now, though. I could probably go out there and come up.
Yeah. I just knew that I didn't want to be in hospitality. And I went through a temp agency when I got here, Kelly Services. That's usually who I work with in California too. So I went through that temp agency. They placed me in another temp agency, And I started to feel like the job I was working at, it was crazy. I did not like it at all. And I was like, fuck this. I quit. And I put in my 30-day notice. I had no backup. I have nothing. And they were like, well, it's too much proprietary information. We're going to go ahead and let you go today. The same day I put my 30-day notice in. I said, thank you, Jesus. I was like, now I can file unemployment. I was like, you can't file unemployment if you quit the damn job.
I'm telling you.
So a lot of people come back and forth. Like it, I don't know. It's difficult for some people. But I've been rocking and it's been working out. And I really feel like it's been the right move for me.
See, but the cool thing about my job is, like, my job has the flexibility that I could essentially work out here and live in another state.
Mm-hmm.
But
you don't have to I don't know. I've never been like what's your position there?
I don't want to lose this money.
Mm-hmm.
And we get real money in the Bay Area. Honestly, no matter where you work. Like you said, the minimum wage out there is 8 something. So a security job of being what, 11, 12?
Hell no. The last job I was working, it was a temp agency. They were paying people $8.75.
You can't. You got to give me at least 18 right now.
No.
Right now.
$9.25.
Half of the time I'm overqualified, exactly, so I can't get a job. Now I could be y'all could train me as a supervisor if I take a slight pay cut, but I'm not going down to 14 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
I take at least 16 if the area is cool enough, and essentially y'all gonna give me my money back anyway. But I'm overqualified everywhere else. So the only place I can get a job is in the Bay Area and in New York.
And in New York?
Maybe Atlanta. And in New York. Maybe Atlanta.
I never thought about moving to New York. I've just never been to New York, and I've always wanted to visit.
I went once in high school.
I don't know what the hell was wrong with my high school, my field trips. I ain't go nowhere.
It wasn't a field trip. It was some random shit that actually worked out in my favor. Somehow I got like a letter in the mail saying that I was nominated for some leadership conference,
mm-hmm.
and we didn't know who it was. And my mom was like, "Well, do you want to go?" And I was like, "I don't know what it is." I talked to my worker and all this shit, and she was like, "Well, do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Well, hell yeah! If it's a trip to New York, I ain't tripping." And they hooked it up.
Wow!
Oh, I had a ball. I went to Washington D.C. and New York. It was what year was that? My sophomore year, going into my junior year. And we had a ball. It was like a conference, so it was like a whole lot of. That's what made me start to love politics and government and looking at the world and how we all relate into it. That trip. But beyond that, it was a whole bunch of niggas in there. It was a whole bunch of, but the most beautiful part about it was I literally met people from all over the world. From China that didn't speak a whole bunch of English, from Africa, it was a whole group of people that just came from the Caribbean islands, Trinidad and Barbados, Barbados, Cayman Islands, like kids. We were all essentially kids.
That sounds like the what was that meeting that was just happened with all the black kids. I think this was college though, and they all had the MAGA hats on at the White House.
It was bigger than that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bigger than that. It was like 300 of us. It was like 300, 400 of us. And we were all split up into like different groups that were smaller. And then we had like our little chaperone and our main teacher. But essentially, we ended up going to like all the memorials in Washington, D.C., the UN, that was in New York. Like it was this big old thing. So even though we learned a whole bunch of stuff, we did nigga shit. One of the girls that we kicked it with was from Harlem. We just so happened to stay in the college behind her building. Oh, it was a rap. it was a rap. I swear to God, it was a rap. They ended up having a whole party in the somehow or another somebody got a boombox. They ended up having a whole party 2 in the morning. Everybody knocking on doors. People get woke up. Like, what's going on? Meet on the third floor. Meet on the third floor. They called the police on us. These are kids from all over the world, though. We had an absolute ball on that trip. I'm still cool with some of them on Facebook. One of the dudes from Trinidad and Tobago, he like runs Marriott or something in London now.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, it's the people that I met were hella cool, but that was like my only trip, and I would love to go back on some adult shit. We was young, we wilded out, but we were chaperones. I want to go back to Harlem when I'm grown. Shit, when I can travel more.
I wouldn't even know what to
Not Harlem, excuse me, not Harlem. Let me not say that. I think it was the Bronx. I feel like it was Harlem though. But I feel like it was the Bronx. Either or, I know for sure we stayed behind that girl building. Cause we was like, we needed some of that. And she was like, oh, my man's is over there. And I was like,
badass kids. Y'all supposed to be the future leaders of America.
That trip, I'm pretty sure, made a whole good bunch of us too.
Mm-hmm.
I could guarantee you that because we did learn a whole bunch about world politics, how it convenes, how it's run, everything. But we had them all. It's still going though, and we got 130.
Well, actually, I recorded a little bit before. I was answering a question from a YouTuber that I have watched, and the question was to submit or not to submit. His video was mainly about women not knowing the definition to submit or to be submissive. So I just
to
put my
who?
little,
Their man?
yeah,
Their manly being?
correct.
At what level though?
There was no level expressed.
Well, no, because well, even though like what's somebody's definition? I think each individual's definition of submission is different.
What's your definition?
My definition submission. I wouldn't take it as you just bowing down, my lady bowing down to me. My version of submission is you being able to trust me enough to know that we gonna be okay. Because a lot of times females are, one, hella independent, two, they're untrustworthy to their partner to the point where they don't fully trust that especially in lesbian relationships. They ain't gonna trust that we got it together, or they just gonna over trust us and we gonna be too good. And a lot of times it is because studs like us use a female, or other studs just take care of a female wholeheartedly, and You feel me? I feel like if a female can trust me enough to know that we're gonna be good, that's as much submission as I personally need. I don't want you to bow to me though.
So let me see. So his point was more like submitting to the request or the will of your partner, but doing it willingly. And I didn't see an issue with that definition. Because me, naturally, I do fall back when in a relationship. So it's just natural for me. But one of the points that he hit on was women who kind of have like that false sense of independence, who kind of like reject being submissive or might not make themselves available or accessible to men as part as not as part as not being submissive. And I just offer like a different narrative, because with
I feel like
myself,
that's the same thing. Women don't trust men enough to give them their whole soul. If you could give your man his whole soul, that should be a submission enough for any man. If he could carry it right. Let's start there. Because and half of it is dude's fault. When females will give them their soul, and then they'll fall off.
And then that would be reasons why women would be not so available, not as accessible. It's kind of like a defense mechanism, You got to step back and figure out if this is the person that you should be following behind, submitting to.
Right. But then, like I said, it's people's individual definitions, because some men take submission as complete control. I don't never want to have control over no female. For what?
I have to watch out because I have a little bit like submission / passiveness. And
when it comes to your mate.
Yeah.
Most females are like that. You just want to avoid confrontation. But it's up to a man and his nature to understand what exactly you're giving him. Because he could take that, he could take what you're giving him, he could take that passiveness, he could take that, step back and really take control. Not over you, but, you know what I'm saying? If a female was to give up that much.
Yeah.
And I think guys really do take control of that. And, or some guys be so scared to know what to do with it that they mess up on technicality. You wasn't supposed to do it like that, bro.
That's what I was saying. It can be spun into different angles. It just depends on, like you said, what your definition is as far as
of what, yep. And like you said, like did he say women don't submit? Was that like the conclusion that he drawn from it?
It was more so reasons as to why women have attitudes or can be considered to have a certain attitude or be emotional and kind of resistant in that dynamic. That's what I got from it.
That's the reason why they don't submit, because they have attitude.
Yeah.
He a sucker.
It has some good points. It did.
That's some sucker shit. you basically saying because she got an attitude, she won't submit to you. So you're demanding something from her that her wall isn't going to give to you until she trusts you enough. So what have you done for me lately? Because essentially, why would I, as a female, why would she give it up to somebody who ain't proven he's worthy to have it? So she got an attitude. Now she ain't submissive. Then it goes back to the question, what's your version? What are you expecting from her?
And that's why I gave the alternate.
Attitude,
that's why I gave the alternate narrative as far as reasons that would make women apprehensive to submitting, or sometimes it's not even a thought process. Like women who have been single for a while, or have that quote unquote strong independence. The thought of another person coming into their world is not necessarily something they prepare for or put at the forefront. And it takes a minute to get to a level where, like you said, they can trust and get a clear assessment that, you can go ahead and move forward. You can bring that type of dynamic to the relationship as far as establishing a leader and the person who you submit to.
So then what's your limit?
What do you mean?
Like what you say you become passive, or you kind of step back when it comes to submitting to your significant other. So what's your limit? At what point? Because I feel like I said earlier, when you become submissive to somebody, you need a form of control that you have over yourself, and you trust that the other person can handle that enough that you're good. But what's your limit if it wasn't being reciprocated well?
My limit is I kind of have like a short fuse now, because I've been in some ridiculous ass relationships. But I do fall back as far as like getting outside of the moment to take a look at like, this person, what things do we do in the relationship? How far is that activity gonna go? Like, is it superficial? Is it something that offers growth? Before, my focus was more like just, okay, well, it's a fun time. That's not where my head is at right now. So it has to be something that can progress, and the person has to be like, we gotta be. What's that desert in Africa? I need a person who, if we are stranded in the Kalahari Desert or something, they gotta know how to survive.
The Kilimanjaro.
If we is in the jungle, are we gonna make it out alive? If we in the rainforest naked and afraid, are we gonna make it to the extraction point?
Can I exactly? When you down, can you count? Can you let me know that I got you? Let me help you. Help me. Help you. That's all I need from somebody. And I don't think I've ever gotten that from anybody I've ever talked to. I never had a female who just trusted me enough to know that if we had it, I gotta do what you do. I gotta. And if I don't got us, and if we at a stage, because that has happened, and you was at a stage where I ain't have us, and that's honest. And I was like, wait, let me get me to get us. And she ran off on the first place.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I'm very
But,
once I get to a certain point, I'm pretty patient as far as or well, I don't know. I don't know if patient is the right word. It's probably going back to that whole passive thing where you're not too resistant to some stuff that you should be paying attention to. um,
mm,
but now that I know that about myself, I just make sure I give myself the space and time to process everything.
right. Right. And that takes time. You get over it. I feel like you don't find the person you're supposed to marry until you're like 35, 40. We
I
can
don't
learn
even know.
everybody we get together.
I don't even know if I'm I don't even have thoughts
You
of
don't.
marriage.
You said what?
I said I don't even have thoughts of marriage. I don't. It's kind of weird. Like I never was like the princess. Never wanted to grow up be a
Right.
princess or anything like that.
You just want somebody to rock.
Yeah.
I'm so different. I want a marriage.
You just like the rest of them.
Honestly, I do because that's all we see in our family. 20 years, 30 years. All these people have been together forever. And
I've
I kind of
seen
want that.
I've seen long-term relationships um within my actual home, my family. There wasn't no marriage. I had to look at like grandma or aunts, uncles, that type of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
in the core unit, no.
Right. Mm.
But I don't
You
think that's a
feel
bad
you
thing.
kind of want it.
I don't think that's a negative, marriage or no marriage. It just depends on
The person.
yeah.
If I could get over 2 years with somebody, that's the person I'm supposed to be with forever.
2 years?
2 years. Because it seems like the first 6 months you in bliss, right? You were just in bliss. You were infatuated with this person. The second 6 months, you still in infatuation, but that's where your feelings grow. But mind you, you don't know this person. Now, in our community, my personal community, by a year, you done already moved in with them, probably taking care of the girl, kids, all types of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is the time where you really get to know somebody. And 7 times out of 10, they don't like what they with. So then the last 6 months become the 6 months of we just in it because we love each other.
That's funny because I was gonna say they used to say that it's you kind of have to make it to like the 7th year. If you make it past year number 7.
That's the person you're supposed to be with. I don't never want to be just somebody's girlfriend for 7 years. That's a long time.
That is a long time. I was
Now,
somebody's girlfriend for 7
if I
years.
could get past 2 years with somebody and still feel the same way I felt for you in the first 6 months, yeah, you might could be my wife. That don't mean we necessarily got to be married in that moment. But that's somebody I know that I could potentially see. Then you got the time because nowadays years go by so goddamn quick.
That's true.
And so essentially it'll be the next year already. Be like, damn, we're 4 years in this.
It's the 7-year itch versus the 2-year itch.
Mm-hmm. In our community, you only got 2 years.
I had 2 long-term
only got
relationships.
2 good years.
I had 2 long-term relationships. One was 7.
You said
One was
They,
7 years and
they,
one was 5 years.
my longest was 2 years. In the last 6 months, I was with her because I loved her,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like her too much. And at that point, I was like, but I loved her so much. Like I said, let me step away, get my life together, and we can make this work. And she ran off with the plug. So essentially, you only get 2 good years. A lot of other stuff come into it, but essentially, your love for somebody can in 2 years. I could honestly tell you in 30 days if I like it. I could have 2 conversations with a female and be like, "Oh, this not gonna work. This ain't gonna work, bruh." But yeah, like that was weird. And beyond that, I've had relationships. I've had relationships off and on that lasted longer, and so I know my love for them were. But like in one solid relationship, like nonstop, yeah, 2 years.
I um I don't do relationships any longer.
I don't. I maybe because my thing is honestly, if I was to just start off and really live my best life, it ain't gonna end too well.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I've always been the type of person where I don't have sex too much outside of a relationship. So like, or outside of somebody I'm talking to for real. But beyond that, like, I'm just
So
not.
if you by yourself,
And it,
you by yourself.
no, I'm just living my life. I work so much I wouldn't be able to get in.
There's always time. There's always time.
And I'm not the type of person that don't like sex. Oh yeah, when I'm with somebody, oh, it's a wrap. That's why I feel like me being in a relationship is better for me. Because if I'm in a relationship, I'm bouncing my girlfriend off of all the walls, and it's just a wrap. Like it's just one deal. But I can't just do that with her. I just can't. You feel me? And then everybody don't have. I feel like good good relations come with feelings. Anybody could just have sex. But
Mm-hmm.
how many times can you just have sex and it just not feel like nothing?
True. I agree.
Orgasms are different when you love somebody. Straight up. Orgasms is different when you like somebody. If you just come for somebody, that's just an orgasm for you. If you love, if you like somebody, that's a cool orgasm. And like I said, that's the bliss, that's the lust, that's the ooh. But when you love somebody, boy, because not only you trying to get it your best, you trying to give to her. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's levels to that shit. So like, but honestly, I don't need it. Like I don't yearn for it. It's not like I'm an addict or anything like that. So I can legit go about my day, and I'm not lonely or you know what I'm saying. I'm not like hurting or I'm just living my life. I don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
When I find a female that I really like, I'm about to bounce her up against the walls. It's a wrap. But until then, getting money.
Well, like I said, I came to Vegas to work and play.
We're getting it at the same time. You gotta make it do what it do.
Work and play. But no. I've been trying to stay focused and just build. But I can't I don't go long periods of time. I don't. But
No,
like
I
you
don't
said,
either.
feelings it's a different feeling when you have a vibe with a person or you are actually in a relationship and there's a true passion and love. It's different, but in the meantime.
I got to get it in, son.
For real. I'll be like,
Gotta
oh
get it in.
man, my back hurts. My back starts hurting, then I have to find a penis to sit on. That's how it goes.
My thing is one, homosexual sex is way different. I can't just go around fucking on females because essentially that means I'm putting my mouth on a whole bunch of females.
That is
and that
true.
doesn't even translate well with me. Now, if I came with a package, I could wrap up, boom, 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 then let's go. I told myself if I was a dude, I would have had some kids by now. My first would have been in high school.
That's crazy.
It would have been my senior year. So I would have. Because, but essentially, I had my girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
We were just having a whole lot of relations. I had my first kid in high school, and then I think I would have protected myself better while I was at Sac City.
While you was at Sac City. Everybody was at Sac City.
Getting it in.
I don't know.
I went from Elk Grove.
I probably would have had my first child right after high school. But I've not had any pregnancies or nothing. No, none of that. So.
Me either. We should be proud of ourselves.
Girl, how the hell you gonna inseminate yourself? I seen a story about that. A guy had frozen his sperm before he underwent his transgender surgery in hopes to continue, have his own kids. But yeah, I guess. But yeah, no, they're probably. I don't even know if I want to procreate in this world. With this state.
I said that. I told my mama that.
Mhm.
You know how the matriarchs get. You gonna have a baby. Grandkids. I was like, for what? This world is crazy.
Lightweight was thinking like maybe I should have one while my grandmother is still here.
Same thing I said.
I was contemplating that, but that's a lot. That is a lot.
That's a lot. I got so many grandkids lives to get lost in the fold.
Mhm.
Period.
And then I'm gonna have to get it to California.
Kids around you. You don't need one more.
But yeah, with this move here, I don't know, Grandma. I don't know. Child care is expensive and stuff like that.
It's hell. And God forbid you overqualify for child action.
That's
it's a wrap. Child care is $2 a month.
I wouldn't have anyone that I would be like, you know what? I'd have to pay for expensive ass daycare.
Montessori.
It would be kind of tough out here, I think. Because I don't have.
And out there, they don't really have a welfare system. Period. Or like a system that really helps.
They have I don't know.
They have a homeless shelter system for surely out there.
You couldn't tell. They're on like every corner. There's someone, and they walk up and down the street, like in between cars. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen that until I moved out here, and it's crazy. It's very sad actually. It's very sad, but
It is.
that's kind of like
It is.
the town. It's very transient. People are in and out, up and down.
People don't out here. People stay out here to work. Do you not know a large percent of the homeless population in Oakland have full-time jobs?
Oh wow.
They just cannot afford to rent, but cannot afford to move either.
Mhm.
So they're essentially stuck. They're in their tent. They're getting up, taking showers at 24-hour fitness, and going to work.
That's crazy. It's unfortunate.
Very, very much so. And in fact, I'm so blessed. But I know essentially it is time to move. Once you're in your 30s, like you said, you start thinking different.
It's
You
gonna
know,
get
you're
very
getting a
bad.
house. I want one.
It's gonna get a lot worse. It
Mm-hmm.
is inevitable. It's gonna be much worse before it gets better.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Most definitely. And that's why I can't bring no children into this. I could barely afford me. A plus one?
That's why I had to move out here so I can learn, so I can start to afford myself.
Barely. Barely. I'm just making it for myself. I'm surprised I'm alive. I'm making it. So, like, it's hard out here for a pimp. I'm trying to get the money for the rent. Sure. But you just gotta live it. You gotta live it and try to remain good in all of it. And try not to get so consumed in it that it takes over you. And I
True.
have learned a lot of that.
Mhm.
Stop allowing other people to dictate what you do.
That's right.
I've done a lot of stuff on other people, and just now getting to a point where I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me. I took this for me. So like, and staying away from the wrong crowd, because the drugs that took our parents' generation is like times 10 for our generations, and they eating that shit up. You know, some black people on meth.
Yeah, that's the drug of choice out here.
I
Um,
know.
Heroin.
Oh, that business out there, girl.
I can't. I
So the
don't.
Vegas to try your best to do right. Because there's so many ways to do wrong. Lord.
It
And so
is.
I was like, I need to come back to the Bay. I need a job.
That's why
I mean, y'all still with a Neo Brown.
I give myself a little bit in these casinos, but after that, I can't do nothing else.
It is bad too. You feel like that wasn't even our drug of choice.
No, it wasn't. That's crazy. I don't know how that
That
thing
was
just swooped up. It's highly addictive. Highly,
the
highly.
dope dried up. Dope got bad. They were using too much Benadryl. And people eventually was like, we need another drug of choice. You laugh, but I'm serious.
No, really, it does just cycle around.
That is the truth. They was like, we need a new drug of choice. And now they all heroin. They all mess. I think e-pills is obsolete now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our generation don't even fuck with e-pills. Like, they done moved on. They bougie now. They just pop the hell of prescription pills like it's good.
They better leave them white women drugs alone.
I don't be messing with none of that shit. I don't be messing with none of that shit. My life too precious. My family comes from addictive nature. I'll be the one liable, stuck somewhere. Trying to make a dollar out of it.
Man, but I just stay positive. Out of out of all the things that, has taken place, I've only been out here for a year. So I cannot complain about anything that has happened. And it's good shit out here. So I'm good.
Yeah. Sometimes people's best bet is to just go
Mhm.
and be like, forget what other people say, forget how other people be, and just go. Because I'm pretty sure if I would have never left when I did, I would never have peace. That's finding your peace is the most the best part of it all. No matter what age you are, the moment you find your peace is the best part of it all because you always got somewhere to go.
True. That's what I'm
Like,
working
just
on
don't
too.
fuck with me. I'm finding my peace.
I'm gonna have to learn to curb distractions. My path has been thrown off somewhat every now and again. But that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Like you get ready, you get like a nice momentum of productivity
Sometimes
and
that's
stuff.
your peace.
Mhm.
Willing to just let it all go for a second. Fuck it. Every now and then I'll be like, let's wild out. One weekend. We're getting drunk. Let's go. I don't even drink like that. We're getting drunk.
These liquor
I'm
stores be
feeling
open
it.
24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And I live across the street from a liquor store too.
You said what?
I said I live across the street from a 24/7 liquor store.
Problems. Let's go. We out. 3 in the morning. Oh, we ready to drink. We out.
Go to sleep, wake up, like, oh, let me go to the liquor store. I'm just walking across the street.
I can get my beer anytime. Oh, that. I'm telling you, there were certain factors in Vegas that would have had me stay. But if I didn't leave when I knew I was supposed to leave, oh, it would have been bad.
I was excited when I first moved out here.
When you came out there, all you had to do was, booty move, cousin, I'm in Vegas. Oh, nigga, come to the penthouse inside, bitch. I'm up here. I'm at the top. I'm at the top of the Trump Tower, bitch. Fuck it. He wasn't the president then. Fuck it. I'm at the top of the Trump Tower.
I know, that's fucked up. Everybody was on the Trump Tower. All celebrities and different artists had Trump in their song in some way. And now look at us.
Right, we showed this, and then he goes eating it up. You think he's gonna get impeached, or they gonna let him live out his last 2 years?
I don't think he's gonna get impeached.
I think so.
I feel like there's I don't know, this administration really is showing people the definition of how to move mean. Like every person that he appointed to his cabinet and Kavanaugh, like,
are they get?
I feel like the way that they're padding like the crucial, like the most important positions, soon we won't have a way out.
I think they're gonna impeach him. See, what they gonna do is, here's what they gonna do. Because everything got processed. The homeboy, he doing a little investigation on him, right? in the Russia's meddling investigation. Everybody except for Trump already know this nigga guilty, right? So what happened in Watergate was the same shit. Situation happened. They think the president got something to do with it. They do this big old investigation. They found out that nigga had something to do with it. But essentially, Trump, the reason why Trump won't just back down and start fucking with people is because you really can't indict the president. So instead of him indicting the president, they just ran all the paperwork to him and was like, we can release this to the media and let the public have with you the way you do, or you can resign right now. And he was like, all right, I'll resign. And that's how they got Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
But Trump's ego is not going to be like, I'll resign. They're not to fuck with him. They're not to release it to the public. His supporters is going to be on his side, but the rest of the world is going to hate on him. They're going to force him out that seat before his 2 years is up.
I don't feel like it's kind of hard to make them. It's kind of hard to make this administration do anything.
Eventually, everybody getting implicated in his business.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if Sarah Sanders don't stop right now, she's about to go down for all them lies. Let's start there. She got a whole administration filled with lies.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that he done said and the people around him done said done been lies. Anybody that they done indicted that was his people then turned on him was like, I ain't going to jail for this nigga. I'll tell you what you need to know. It's so crazy. White people don't got the code that we got. The snitches get stitches does not translate in white culture. G.O.D. Because all his friends on his ass. Every last one. And the last people is the stepson, his son, and him.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else under that has been indicted. Pretty much. Outside of the people that he still got in positions now.
Uh-huh.
To the point where people's reputation is getting messed up because of it. And they're not going people are not going to continue to let their reputation get messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck around with this man that's about to get caught up anyway.
Wasn't he supposed to? What happened with his sexual assault?
You said who?
What happened with his sexual assault charges and rape charges? Didn't he have some? Trump.
Nobody knows hear about it no more. It seemed like he just paid people to go away. That's where it all started. Because he tried to say he didn't know about the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude Mueller's so cold. He's starting at the bottom and working his way up because everything is a pyramid. Somebody at the top, and they're a bad business. But everybody underneath that nigga got their own set of bad business. He started at the bottom, got homie for the tax. Then he got at the homie. Then he got at somebody who was like, you knew about this meeting. So then when the campaign manager got caught up for campaign fraud, really, essentially, they're trying to get this nigga because he used donations from people to pay off these girls. And homeboy got it on tape. So, essentially, they went away. I don't think they were necessarily sexual assault charges. More so, he was just having affairs with a bunch of strippers and got caught up.
Oh. I thought, no, one of them was underage or something. I thought one of them was underage.
I think one was Russian or some shit.
I just think that's amazing. The amount of scandal.
Reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get no real alert in what's going on at the White House.
It's just lies and scandals. Lies and scandals.
Lies and scandals. Lies and scandals. People be watching Love and Hip Hop. I be watching MSNBC. Like, it is not a game.
Mm-mm.
It's funny to me. It is absolutely comical. I'll sit here and roll up and watch it be weak as shit.
It's like the real life The haves and the have-nots.
I be crying tears. I be yelling at the TV. Like, Dad, the nigga's stupid. Every time Trump say something stupid, this dumb nigga.
I can't.
It's just crazy, and it's just how he. I don't even think this nigga thinks before he talks.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch the news and stuff more because at first, like, I don't watch a lot of TV. Honestly, I don't have cable or anything, and I only have one television, which, um, if I turn it on,
Honestly,
I
all
watch
my
Fire
news
Stick
come from YouTube.
from YouTube.
Like, yep, I got a cable, but I only watch cable for the Warriors game. Beyond that, I'm not really watching cable because anything I can watch on cable, I can watch on Hulu, Netflix, or on YouTube. I watch all my news on YouTube. All the news be posted on YouTube now because it's another market for money.
Oh yeah.
Because not everybody got, you know, not everybody got cable like that.
Well, I don't really watch TV because I was like, let me free myself from overconsumption through television. And
I do. You have to separate yourself from that shit sometimes. My ex was on it.
mhm.
She knew all the shows when they came on. They have Empire watch parties, all that shit. I don't trip on none of that. And she used to be mad as shit. I wasn't watching it. Well, what? I don't watch TV like that. And definitely not hood rat shows. They'd get together to watch Love and Hip Hop. What?
I had to stop watching that because I was like, you know what? Because ultimately, if I couldn't have that dynamic in real life, like these are
At
supposed to
all.
be people that, okay, so we're supposed to be friends or not. Like, I'm not going to argue with nobody like that. And I'm just not going to deal with none of the shenanigans and all this drama that they got going on.
Right.
Even though it's for ratings and everything, like I used to, like, you know, I used to watch Bad Girls Club and stuff. But after, you ever watch Bad Girls Club?
No. I
Oh,
never
okay.
I never really was a reality TV person. You know what I did watch though? Braxton Family Values. That was my shit. That was my shit.
I didn't watch
And
that.
um what else? That was it.
I watched Bad Girls
Back
Club. I watched a lot of like, what is it? Uh, the MTV, what is it called? Real Life or whatever. I watched that.
oh,
MTV's, their little Real Life, like their reality
oh yeah.
where they had a group of people that come, like Real Life. I think it was Real Life. I think that's what it was called. But it originally started like they'd have a group of people move into one house. Everybody would work at the same job, and you like there was
Oh, the real world.
the real. Okay, yeah. And then I would watch Bad Girls Club, and Bad Girls Club they started out. Um, I think they had jobs or they did something a little bit productive, but basically the show was mainly, um, you know, come into the house and you party, you have a good time. Then it
Yeah.
started to turn into all that drama and fighting and a lot of bullying. And I was like, you
Yes.
know what? This is ridiculous ass shit. Like, this is normal as everyday stuff. I'm not about to turn on the TV and just watch some shit that I hear at 12 o'clock at night just on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. That's most definitely true. And more and more reality TV is getting fake. My new current show, though, is the T.I. and Tiny show with Monica on there and Latoya Luckett. Um, who else? And Toya, Lil Wayne, baby mama.
On T.I.'s, the Family Values, whatever?
Yeah, they expanded it. Now it's called Family and Friends.
Mm.
So essentially, it's just all the tiny homegirls.
I don't watch that.
Yeah, but they country.
Mm-mm.
But you learn a lot about the people. It's not like, for one, I respect it because it's not bad television. It's not necessarily fighting or none of this shit. Like, they just really going about their lives and recording it.
I don't watch it because I don't respect T.I. as as a person. I don't.
You know, like I love him. I do, as an artist.
Mm-mm.
He is in my top 5. In my top 10. If I had a top 10, he would definitely be in my top 10.
I'm not really into his music. Um, I rock with his mainstream stuff, but I'm not really into his music, and I don't like him as a person. So
What he do?
I just in my past experiences with men, I don't like Ti.
Oh, he did some real nigga shit.
I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I don't watch that show. I started off watching it at first, but then I was like, oh nah, fuck this nigga. And forget Tiny too for staying with him. So I'm over their whole family, and also apparently their friends.
We never let friends alone.
What they say, guilty by associate, birds of a feather. Birds of a feather.
That's so funny.
Well, let me see.
That's so funny. You said who?
Now I was checking the time.
Oh. Oh. We've been going on for a minute.
I know. What the hell? I ain't tell you call in
Yeah.
and talk forever.
Hey. And conversations just get lit like that.
I'm going to practice for 15 minutes every day for 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure I get my C notes correct. And I'm going to be like, when you want me on the next track. When you want me.
I'm ready, cousin, I'm ready.
I'm going to just, I'm be like, I'm going to just email you what I laid down.
Yeah. Sad. I'm ready.
Mm-mm.
I am thinking about singing some, but in a different way. And like I respect like Ty,
Mm-hmm.
because he sings, but in his own way. And who else? That's a guy that do it. Like, there's a couple of artists, like Buddy. He has a very unique sound. That's his own way. And I'm thinking about exploring it in the future.
You said Buddy?
Cause yeah, he's a artist from Compton, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And he flows, but he also has like a dope singing voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I've been, as of lately, listening to artists who kind of hear that like singing but rapping.
Okay.
That shit is low key hard.
Here's an article. It says, "Meet Buddy, the Compton singer rapper, making feel good music for sunnier climes."
See,
So that's kind of like you said, how it's moving towards that whole feel good music.
it is. I told you, like it's real legit,
Mhm.
and it's so crazy because like you would think we were ruled during a time where like feel good music was kind of being phased out when we were going from folks like the Jungle Brothers to NWA and Snoop Dogg in this real live reality rap music that reflected our life but wasn't necessarily the best music to put the next generation onto.
Mhm.
But yeah, Buddy dope.
I'm gonna have to
Buddy
listen
hella
to him.
dope. It's a couple of other dudes like what's his name? I got his album. Hold on, I'm about to go look at it. Gold Links.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He teeters that live, but he's more so rapping. But his raps come with more so melody
Mhm.
for sure. I'm gonna take whatever what you call it. You take though.
I have you heard of Georgia Smith?
Who?
Georgia Smith.
It's a girl.
Yeah. She's from the UK.
Mm-mm.
Um
No.
she kind of has like a Amy Winehouse. I give her like a Amy Winehouse slash
I love
a
Amy
male.
Winehouse. She's a legend.
Mhm. Yeah,
Georgia.
I don't know.
Wait, let me see. I don't think this is the. Wait, Georgia Smith?
Georgia Smith. Mhm. She's like a Amy Winehouse. I think she's the cross for me of like a Amy Winehouse or and like Emil, what's her last name? LaRoe.
Oh. Let me see if I can find her on YouTube.
But she has cool vibes. Definitely
Oh,
music that
snap.
you
Oh,
sit and
those
contemplate.
are different.
Mhm. Oh yeah, JORJA.
She's pretty. She looks like Zoe Kravitz. Okay, I'm about to find her on my Apple Music. You put me on.
Yeah, I've been listening to her album Lost and Found.
Okay, I got it. I'm gonna add it. She got other music? No, just the one.
Just that one.
Oh, and you know. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, you got a couple of EPs too. I hate how Apple Music separated like that. Like, why you couldn't put her EPs and albums?
You need a title
they making
subscription.
it too. They're making it too difficult.
Your song, I still got your song stuck in my head.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because people to this day send me videos and be like, "Oh, I heard this," and people still just now listening to it.
Mhm.
Like I had an ex of mine hit me up and was like, "Oh my God, I just heard your album. Mind you, we did not end on the best of terms." And she was like, she was like, "I loved it. I'm so proud of you." Da, 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 da. And I was like, "Well, how are you doing?" I kind of didn't know how to take it because we really did end on the best of terms. But we
Really?
cool now. But we did not end on the best of terms. But the first thing to say was like, "I heard the album. I loved it. Where the hell you pop up at?" I thought we were blocked.
I would have. If I'd have heard the album, I would be like, oh, it's all right. And I would have just left it at that. Like, nope. Mm-mm. I'm not reaching out. Congratulations.
To me, that's my own stuff. I'll be like, it's cool. I know I could have done better.
I like it.
I know it could have been better.
I'd be
I
like,
like it too.
the bees that chase the honey. Watch. I'm about to be singing on your next album. You don't even know.
Most definitely. It's really in the works though.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe another EP.
I just figured out what EP stands for. It stands for extended play.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So then what's an LP? Limited play?
An LP. Well, let's Google that.
Yeah, but
I don't know what the hell
LP would be longer. Because the EP is only up to like 7 or 8 songs.
I thought the EP was like 1 to 3 songs. No. That was an EP.
Well, mine is considered an EP because technically it only has 6 songs on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to a certain number. And let me look up the numbers.
Oh, LP stands for long playing, and is another word for album. It's longer than a single and also longer than an EP album.
Pretty much.
And then EP, yeah, is extended play. But the EP is kind of like that's kind of like you put out an EP to kind of give people an idea of who you are as an artist, what your music would be about.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, I got a couple of little things coming up. I still want to do a video to California Dreaming.
I'm California Dreaming.
I had so much. My ex wrote that hook. She did. And she was singing on it. It's her and my little cousin on the hook. And every time I hear it, I get so mad.
It's too late now.
Right. I love it. Like, personally, I'm not mad at it in regards to the record. Like, everything else. Just hearing, it was a process. But every one of those songs got an individual story.
I liked the flow of the album, how you had the track and then you had like that brief like intermission, or I'm not sure what you call it, but kind of leading into what the next song is.
That's my only personal critique, because it wasn't supposed to be laid out like that. Like, the interludes were supposed to be extensions of the previous track. You remember how the writing on the wall was kind of like that?
That's why you said it's only 6 songs. I was like, no, there's 11.
Yeah,
there's 11 tracks.
Exactly, because they didn't mix and master it the way that might. So I kind of feel like Division failed. It's still dope. People still received it well. But the idea I had behind those interludes was they were supposed to be extensions of the other tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And it still worked. It still worked. And all of that came together in such a short amount of time. From the songs to the vision down to the name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all that came down. I didn't know the name of it, the song of the actual album, until after all the tracks were done.
I wish I could write.
I was in a very happy place at that point.
Yeah.
I've been in a writer's block too for a while. Like I'm working on stuff. I got stuff coming up. I write verses here and there. But the passion I had, like I had for writing Livin Legend, I knocked 6 songs out in like no time, and still working, and still driving Uber, and still delivering food, and just slapping the beats in the car and writing in my head as I'm writing on paper. Like it was a process.
You was like, I was trying to get it how I live.
For real. I'm hoping to get with Danielle to do this idea that I had, and I hope that comes together because the idea I have is dope, and Danielle is dope. So I reached out to her like, cousin. I got an idea, cousin. So, hopefully that comes together.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because technically only got like maybe 10 minutes left of recording. But yeah, this was a good conversation. Go ahead and shout out all your social medias and stuff. One more again.
For sure. The Junior is my Instagram, THE_Junior spelled out. J.R.J.A.I.D.O.T.R on Snapchat. Facebook is June P. Gambino. Woodson J. That's the person now. You can follow that one too. And for all the political commentary. And just listen to my EP, Livin Legend, everywhere. It's on Tidal. It's on Apple Music. It's on Google Play. It's on YouTube. I got it running on my SoundCloud. It's everywhere. So please check it out. Please fall in love like other people fell in love. And thank you, cousin. I did have a hell of fun talking with you.
Yeah. Thank you for calling in too. Because I was like, damn, I was sitting here like, fuck, I gotta put something out. So it's right on time.
Yes, sir.
And
you gotta send me this link so I can post this on my page.
Okay, I'm gonna send it. And then if you have anytime you have anything to promote, you can call in. Definitely, I'll be sharing on Facebook. Gotta support.
Hell yeah, it's good. It's lit. I'm gonna start releasing singles exclusively Pop 40 podcast first. Y'all hear certain shit here first.
I'm gonna need to get explosions.
Y'all let us know if it's good. Like
world premiere. Like that. World premiere.
Yay or nay? How they used to do that on KMEL? Is it hot or not? That's what
hot or not. Mm-hmm.
Hot or not. Trash it. Slap it or trash it.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So
you know what?
Hold
on, because I was doing an outro, but you know what? I feel like I got played because when Post Malone came out, White Iverson, they was putting White Iverson up against E40. They was putting him up against E40. And I called in and I voted for Post Malone. And now, now I feel bad. But yeah, that's a good segment. That's a good segment. Slap it or trash it.
Yeah. We're going to have to talk again.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get in again and record another episode because this was hella fun.
My office hours are Monday through Thursday.
Never.
Anytime after 6 p.m. You can call in to Talk 30. Phone number is 916-262-4857. We had a quick number change, So again, that's 916-262-4857. You can follow Talk Flirty Podcast on all social media pages. That's Talk Flirty Podcast. Talk Flirty is one word. You can always email talkflirty at talkflirtypodcast@gmail.com if you have any feedback, any show topics you want expressed on the air, or information about guest opportunities. Also, Talk Flirty, you can follow here on Spreaker. It is also on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Chrome. You can find it anywhere, pretty much.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So until next time, we out. All right, cousin.
All right, cuz. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.